Well, folks, I don't know. I mean, what more is there to say? What more is there to say? I'm just absolutely disgusted by this team. Oh, welcome back, Devils fans. Here's your host, Ace, here on Running with the Devils, where we are talking New Jersey Devils hockey all year long. Please hit that subscribe button, smash the like, share with a friend. Thank you very much. And it just gets more and more painful, folks. The New Jersey Devils, losers of 4 games in a row, going into Pittsburgh, looking to do something. And what do? Another offensive explosion for this New Jersey Devils club, scoring a single goal, falling by a score of 4-1 to the Pittsburgh Penguins. Win or lose, we booze, guys. Cheers to all of you. Win or lose, we booze. Going with the Corona Extra tonight, and it's painful. It's even more painful coming off the heels of the beautiful Team USA run that I was fortunate enough to be on in Italy. 6 games in a row of nothing but winter drinks, winter Peronis after every game. And now we're back to loser beverages once again. But cheers to all of you. This season is just atrocious. A completely atrocious season down the tubes. There's no, what else is there to say at this point, right? I mean, this team just cannot score. No heart, no life. It sucks. It certainly sucks. And I wish things went differently, but here we are. 20-something games left, which is absolutely grotesque to think about, to have to watch that many more games. But we'll just get to the scoring. 1-0 Pens after 1. Novak. Second period, Paulie Cotter. Nice to see him get on the sheet. The Penguins, in my opinion, foolishly challenged that one, which I thought, but with the Devils' luck, I expected the Penguins to win the challenge. But when they showed the replay, I thought it was ridiculous. Shelov's kind of like pause at the Devil in the crease there. And seemed like he kind of initiated the contact. But I thought, this is the Devils. They'll get screwed. But the goal stands 1-1 after 2. And again, once again, for the 5 millionth time this season, Devils going into the third, having to win the third period to win a game. And what do? They get stomped. Connor Clifton gets one to give him the 2-1 lead. Shinikov gets one to give him the 3-1 lead. And then they bury one on the empty net, 4-1. That's all she wrote. Like Jake Allen last night, Jacob Markstrom deserved better tonight. Oh, hold on a second. I got to get a tissue. Hold on. Thought Markey definitely played well enough to get a win if he was on a hockey team that was capable of scoring goals, but he plays for the New Jersey Devils, and they are not capable of scoring goals, and therefore Markey, another loss on the season. It just can't end soon enough. I mean, this is just, we're slowly bleeding out, guys. I love this team, but it just kills me to watch this product and what they've become, given what the expectations were for this team from both, myself, a large portion of the fan base, and I think the organization itself. But here we are once again, a season that started off with so much promise has gone completely down the tubes, and it's over. I mean, it's completely disgusting. I think it's been over for quite some time. And October's a long ways away. Long, long ways away indeed. Game stats, Devils 29 shots on goal, Penguins at 35. Devils getting the better of the faceoffs, 60% to the Pens, 40%. Devils go 0 for 5 on the power play. It's been shit for quite some time. Going 0 for 5 on the power play is definitely a great recipe for a loss. Penguins go 1 for 3 on their power plays. Devils with 26 hits. I mean, that's encouraging, but at this point, like, what does, what matters anymore? Penguins 15 hits. Devils 11 block shots. Penguins 21 block shots. Devils 18 giveaways. Penguins of 15 giveaways. Devils 3 takeaways. Pens 6 takeaways. And that's it, folks. Absolutely brutal stuff. What is there? I mean, you could only say this team sucks so many different ways and so many times. It is unfortunate. Another 1-goal outing, I believe that's like 20 some odd times on the season where they scored a single goal or got shut out. I mean, you're just not going to win games in this league. And I know a lot of you, it seems like by the day, the Sheldon Keefe, anti-Sheldon Keefe contingency seems to grow. And I'm sorry, I just cannot blame him for this. I know a lot of people will disagree, and I think it's a function of people wanting to believe that the players, or at least the majority of the players here, are capable of getting it done, and it's easier to blame one guy versus several, and especially when it's a coach versus players. But at some point, you people need to just look at this group and say, what have they done under every coach? Outside of that one season where it completely was a fluke now. I hate to say it. A lot of people said it after that season. I did not think that was the case at all. I truly believed that 22-23 season was going to be the turnaround kind of season for the franchise, and they were going to be a legitimate team, every year going forward for years and years. That never happened. We've regressed, steps backwards. You can't make this stuff up. I mean, it's been an absolute travesty what has occurred in New Jersey over the past 3 seasons and the results that they have had. I mean, it is just absolutely painful to be a fan of this team at this time. I mean, aside from the bright future, right? We're always talking about the bright future. When is that bright future going to pan out? I think we've all been waiting for it for quite some time. A decade-long rebuild for this. 22-23, they win a single round. 23-24 missed the playoffs because we had trash goaltending all season. Last season, we kind of limp in and get smacked by the Canes, and that's it. I mean, what have we done since a franchise record-setting season? It's completely insane. And God bless Team USA, Billy Guerin, and the whole team. The only thing that has remotely kept me sane is that Team USA run that I was just down for in Italy. And Jack scoring the golden goal. I mean, obviously not related to Devils directly, but in terms of hockey, it was a little something to ease the pain of this season, because this is just painful. I mean, at this point, I don't even know. I mean, they've been bad for so long. I don't think they're tanking, but it just seems so hard to believe that they could be so offensively challenged for this stretch of time. Like a week or two, maybe even 3, you're like, okay, it's a rough patch. But to be this bad for this long offensively and just not being able to score goals is completely insane. Let me mention this. Get this before it sells out, folks. The iconic Jack Hughes photo. I mean, wow, look at this thing. I need to look at this image for a minute to make me feel better about this Devils team, just to relive a couple nights ago. But Jack Hughes signed photo from Fanatics, one of the most iconic sports photos, at least hockey photos of all time. Get it before it sells out. I just dropped the link in the chat. Get your Jack Hughes. Great for a gift. Buy it. It's not going to ship for a while. Obviously, Jack is going to have to sign warehouse piles of these things at some point, probably during the summer. But get your order in, and you'll be amongst the first people to get it when it ships. I mean, Jack's going to sign 10 million of these things over the course of his life, but phenomenal. Beautiful photo. Jack Hughes, the golden child. Didn't do too much tonight. He had a couple chances, but I'm just completely depressed about this team. It was nice to get away from it for a couple weeks, drink victory Peronis after every USA game, but we are back to the painful reality that is Devils fandom. And that is a team that not only struggles to win games, they struggle to score goals in the games. You can't even see like an exciting, a bad team that scores goals. They just don't score goals. It just sucks. It really sucks. I am clinically depressed. We get to your comments now. Let me see where we want to start here. Larry said, what do you mean sell out? They'll print more and use the auto pen? Dude, Fanatics doesn't use an auto pens, Larry. You are just so clueless. It's unbelievable. Fanatics has no reason to do that. This is not books. They do that with books, Larry. I just saw that and had to put that up. All right, let's see. You guys are very chatty. It's typical when this team gets their faces caved in. Not Tosh says, honestly, obviously Luke's been shit, but I do feel like the Devils have been noticeably worse offensively without him in the lineup. He brings offense, that's for sure. He can move the puck. He can make passes. He brings offense from the defensive end. Obviously better than pretty much everybody else we have on defense. For as much as people wanted to hate on him, and it seems like that's another popular thing for a lot of people to do, I agree with you to some extent. I don't think it was like a massive loss because we were struggling with him, but he certainly contributes offensively regularly, and you're going to see some sort of dip without him in the lineup. I'd be curious to see the goals for per game with and without Luke Hughes. I'd imagine it is higher with him, but there were so many other variables tied to that as well. Like, how many of those games did Jack not play in? Who else was hurt? So it's kind of hard to nail it down exactly, but I just don't see how you could believe the Devils are better without him. Critical Chronicles, get rid of the Hughes bros. Can't stand these guys. Oh, boy. More haters. Okay. Doug, hit the like for Ace. He watches these games. Yeah, hit the thumbs up for your boy and for, I can't even really say the Devils, right? Because what are we hitting thumbs up for? I mean, this team is putting us through misery on a nightly basis. Bungie Boris, that third goal had me out of my seat yelling at my TV. Team completely gave up. Not a single player tried to stop them. Guy had a clear run to the goal. Markey deserves better. Yeah, it just seemed like everyone just kind of stopped him. I'm like, oh, what's this guy doing? And he's coming on a little breakaway with lots of room and just pulling the deeks on Markey, who's just kind of – I thought Markey should use the poke check on that one too, by the way. He just kind of was a sitting duck sitting there. But, it just seems like this entire team has packed it up. It sucks. But this is what happens when you are out of the playoffs essentially around Christmas time. And that was the case with this team. Where is Meier? Where's everybody? Thomas, my favorite season-long trend is getting outshot in the third period, down a goal, or tied at the end of the second period. Yeah, another third period that, you go into the third period, got to win the period, tie game, win the period, win the game, and they just get walked all over. Richie Robb says Fitzy's seat is burning hot right now. I wish that was the case. I don't think it is. And I do think there is a 50-50 chance he comes back next year. As crazy as that may sound, obviously that would not be my choice. And if I was the owner, that certainly would not be the case. But I think he is going to. I think it's truly a coin flip, and I could see him kind of wiggling his way out of this. Doug says the fan base is full of mouth breathers, manual breathers in this chat. B now says it's not even brutal anymore. It's just same old, but it is brutal to me. A bit of applause says blame or not. He's obviously lost the room talking about Keefe. Yeah, totally. I could see that being the case. I'm not sure that it is. And if they were to fire him, I don't think it would be this criminal act per se, unless Fitz was allowed to stay. If Fitz is allowed to fire him and stay on, then it's criminal, and I'll be furious. If they both get fired, then so be it. At some point, when a team is underperforming this badly, even if I don't believe it is necessarily the coach's fault or whatever you want to call it, at some point, sometimes that the coach just kind of needs to be replaced to try to shake things up. But I've said it a million times. How many coaches does this group need to run through before people start to say, you know what, maybe, just maybe, it wasn't all of these coaches and that these players are just not capable of getting it done? Justin Ames said, I didn't care enough to know we had a game. Literally got the notification you had a review coming, and that's how I found out. Oh, boy. Yeah, people are checking out. I'm curious to see how many of the faithful stick till the bitter end. But shout out to all you guys watching this horrible hockey team and then watching this live and participating in commiseration of it all. And we're not even in March yet. I mean, wow. How I got here, Jeremy Proper says, we were off for almost 3 weeks and the product is exactly the same. I honestly didn't expect much to change. I know a lot of people were like, oh, our guys did great in the Olympics. They're going to come home and go on a run. I never believed that. Fire, Fitz, and Keefe. I mean, how many of these names are we going to have here? I mean, same people, I'm assuming. And I guess you can call it a defense of him to some extent, because people are just trying to simplify and be like, oh, yeah, fire Keefe, he's the problem. It's like, the firing Keefe isn't going to do shit, especially now. He's definitely not going to get fired before the end of the season. What's the point of that? I still don't think he should get fired, honestly. I think this group has failed him miserably, and he was failed by Fitz. Guy's been forced to play several AHL players in the majority of the games that he's coached as head coach of the New Jersey Devils. Bungie says boring hockey. Absolutely. Critter Chronicles, I don't give about Olympic hockey. It's meaningless to me. I don't know how you could like hockey and say the Olympics are meaningless to you. It's completely crazy to me. Thomas says Fitz needs to be sent to Guantanamo Bay. Roster shakeup does not preclude firing Keefe and Fitz. I think Fitz definitely needs to be fired. Keefe, it would be nice to see what he could do with a legitimate NHL roster, but he might not get that opportunity in New Jersey. Critter says, all I care about is this team. John T says, core players have proven they cannot get it done. Completely agree. Completely agree. But some of the folks here still believe that this group can get it done, and it's Keefe's fault, which I'm not buying for a second. For a damn second. They need some big shake-up trades, and it needs to be done soon. Natasha said, come on, Ace, you can't seriously say that Keefe hasn't lost the locker room. It's quite possible, but, these guys cannot score to save their lives. It's crazy to blame it on the coach, but I get it. I could totally see people saying that. And again, I'm not going to say it's this criminal act if he is fired, unless Fitz fires him and stays on the job. Then it's criminal. Then that's a scapegoating. If they're going to clean house, then I'm all for it. Clean house and let's start over once again and see where that gets us. B now says, going to watch the new Nirvana movie. Have a good one. Well, I'm interested in that. Where's that on? Maybe I want to get out of here and watch the Nirvana movie too. Mooseman says, hey, look how many people are just flooding the comments about Keefe. Keefe is an innocent bystander. Ace. I'm not going to say complete. If you're the coach, you can never be a completely innocent bystander. But do I think he is unfairly taking a brunt of the criticism? I'll say yes. Is he completely innocent? Absolutely not. If you're the head coach and your team sucks this bad, you have to be implicated to some extent. But I put a large portion of the blame or cause of all of this on Fitz. And then obviously I'm putting a bunch on the players as well. We got fire Fitz, fire Keefe, trade some players. Benjamin says that was a new level of suck. Richie Robb says 2 steps forward, 5 steps back has been our motto since 2018. Car Canes, everyone was predicting the Devils to be second in the Metro this year. Yeah, for sure. For sure. The International Futures Pride classes. Lobster meat, all of our players played well in the tournament, and yet when you put them together, they suck. I blame Keefe. Totally different scenario. They're wearing their country sweater. They're playing in the Olympics. They're mostly playing with different guys. It's not comparable to me whatsoever. And again, they're also playing against, in a lot of the cases, especially the preliminary round games, they're playing against teams that they are just way better than. A lot of the Olympic teams in the early round are there to essentially get slaughtered. You don't get that much of mismatches in the NHL. Even the best team versus the worst team in the NHL, there's a lot of parity in the league. You know, these teams are competitive even when they're bad. That's not the case for these international teams in the Olympics. Natasha said, not everyone, Carson. Ace predicted us to make the Eastern Conference Final. I did. I certainly did. The 5-star, thank you for the super. We are going to get Gavin, referring to McKenna, the Penn State guy that was. Is he still the consensus number one? It's way too early for me to start paying attention to that. I know he was for a while. Then I think somebody else kind of was it Stenberg was on a lot of people's list. They were talking about the potential number one overall changing. But yeah, it seems like McKenna could be a player. The only thing that worries me is he's a little bit undersized as well. And I've said time and time again how I'd like to move away from that and bring in some beefier guys. But, you know, if the Devils are really, it's crazy. We very well could be picking in the top few. I mean, wow. John T said the bright future players are all overrated, Jack included. I guess it depends how you're rating him. I do think he is a, you know, very, very good player. And I think he could be even better if he could stay healthy. Benjamin says, I thought Lindy was the problem. Doug, and another thing, what are we going to do with this eventual top 10 pick again? Salayev not on the team, and whoever we draft won't be on the team. We need to win now. That's why I wanted to trade all the picks. I wanted to trade the number 2 overall, the year we took Nemo. I wanted to trade that pick for a win now piece. When we had the number 10 and when we drafted Salayev, I wanted to trade that for a win now piece. I am always looking to trade for a win now piece with players in place like we have. Now, would my thought process change if we were like a rebuilding team or a team that's always in the basement or at least a long time running in the basement? Then I would say maybe you do draft a guy and hope to develop him. But as crazy as it sounds, regardless of how bad this season was, the Devils should still be in win now mode. Obviously not for this season in terms of maybe trading for guys with expiring contracts. Obviously, you're not going to do that. But with the proper retooling, and again, I do think a competent GM could do this. I'm not saying that Fitz can, but a competent GM could. I think make a couple big-time trades where you're trading some, you know, maybe a couple roster players, prospects, draft picks, whatever futures it is, and you try to bring in win-now pieces. Because with a retool, I think this team could be competitive, but it's just so hard. With where these guys are now, I mean, even everyone outside of Jack and the Big Four, they're all approaching 30. Like, everyone was talking about how young they were and how bright the future was for all those years, and the years fly by quick. They fly by quick, and you see it now. These guys aren't young anymore. They're veterans in the league. I mean, when is the push to truly try to win going to happen? It hasn't happened yet. It's long overdue. And if it doesn't happen soon, you're talking about maybe not being competitive again for years and years. Chicago cut was fake. What do you mean by that? Trevor says the team isn't purposely tanking. They just have zero heart. They did situationally. Doug said, guys, we don't have a player whose only role is to score goals. Yeah, the picture comes with the LOA from Fanatics. They have a contract with Jack and tons of other guys. Doug, our team is made up of too many lefty playmakers, and all the players you want are lefty playmakers. I just want a big, scritty winger. Timomeier says, I still cannot believe what I'm witnessing. I can. Tasha, saying you don't give a shit about Olympic hockey means you just don't give a shit about hockey, period. I mean, that's kind of what it means to me. All these people are coming up with these weird kind of reasons why. I mean, Olympic hockey is phenomenal. Car Canes says, at least the Rangers, yes, I'm giving them credit, fired a coach after a bad season. Their GM is next once we fleets them for Trocheck. Oh, you think the Canes are going to get Trocheck, huh? They create, they don't capitalize. Oh, yeah, they lead the league in creation. Creation without production. Benjamin 0 for 19 on the power play and 0 for 5 last 5. It's sickening. This team can't score, period. People fighting in the comments. Doug says, brother, they can't score. Hockey Pro, Ace, you and Bad Dog are the most loyal and respected by me on YouTube. Diehard Giants and Devils fans watching the garbage. I appreciate that, sir. It sucks. This is, the Devils have been a huge part of my life for 30 years. I watch all the games, and in seasons like this when, it was one thing during the rebuilding years when we knew we were going to suck, and you're just kind of watching to see how these guys develop and knowing that the future is truly bright down the line. Different than when you're supposed to be a true contending team and then you suck. It's a wildly different feeling watching the bad teams in both of those scenarios. Jersey 61 says, at this point, who in the right mind would go to any remaining games at the Rock? I'd imagine the season ticket holders. My heart goes out to them. I don't know how. I literally could not, in my right mind, invest the time to get in my car, go to these games, watch them suck live, and then drive home. I just cannot. I value my time way too much to do that. John Fay, I'm a Devils fan who just wants to watch shit Devils hockey and laugh at the embarrassment that is his team. Doug, they have no righty goal scorers. It's a joke. Obviously, lefties are a lot more abundant, but yeah, sometimes you've seen it on the power play where 4 of the 5 guys out there are all lefties, and it kind of creates a mess. When you're trying to get guys, fed one-timers and stuff, they're constantly handcuffed because there is no right-handed shot. Phillips says, Devils should just leave and go to Virginia Beach. That was pretty random. Tosh, you don't even have to care about the Olympics. It's just best on best hockey in my eyes. I mean, that's a fair point. People just like to complain. It's over, boys. We got easily the most disgraceful from Chill Anselmo, easily the most disgraceful bunch of sackless losers I've ever seen wearing a Devils uniform. SJ says, Jack is the only consistent scorer. Everybody else can't even get an assist consistently. Bratter used to. Yeah, Bratter's having a real bad year. David says, almost every other team I watch, even other bad ones, do more exciting things. Yeah, they score goals. I mean, that's a start, right? Justin Ace, I hate to pick on Bratt, but he's coming down to earth as a 6th-round pick, or is it just a horribly bad season? Even Sweden scratched him. I don't know the whole story behind the Sweden thing. Some people were saying he had a bad play that led to a turnover or something. I wouldn't put too much stock into that. I do believe he is much, going forward, he will be much closer to a point per game guy than what he's doing now. But it's a terrible year for him for sure. Rocky Rinaldi says, I really hope that Dougie assist on that last Penguin goal is his last play as a Devil. I mean, we'll see. Beachmaster said, come on, you guys. Jack is a point per game player. Jack isn't going anywhere. I've said that forever, and especially now. Tasha, Ace, you got your wish. There was no Christmas break drop-off. It started before that this season. Oh, yeah, it started way before that. Started way before that. Trevor said, can we please go get a motivator in the offseason? We need someone who will get the boys going. Well, we all know who the number one guy that fits that description is. But I can't pipe dream anymore. I just can't continue to live these pipe dreams. Philip says, I guess this is about Pratt. It's a bad season. He was good until last season. Yeah, I just don't see him being this terrible ever again. But a lot of people are talking about trading him, and like you'd be selling him low. David Chimes, Fitz coming back would be a sad joke. It really would be, but it's very much a possibility. What's going on, Nicole? They need a hype guy in the locker room or something. The energy and heart is just gone. They need to at least practice shots on goal because this is pathetic. I don't even know what to say anymore, honestly. Doing these shows is painful. Watching this team is painful enough, but then to have to sit here and talk about it afterwards, crazy. Trade Luke Jack Myers as David Clarkson be the best player on these Devils. I don't know about that, but he certainly would have the most heart. Carcanes, can we take Nason and Brett Pesce out of the Devils? It's making me sad seeing them go to waste. Nace is still hurt. Pesce. I hope we hang on to Pesce. I could see him potentially wanting out too. It just sucks the way everything got messed up. Brian J says, who really cares anymore? We had our Stanley Cup moment with USA winning gold and Jack scoring the winner. Hopefully no major injuries, Jack the rest of the way and on to next season. I mean, that's kind of the reality we're living in, right? Like, not only did USA win the gold, but our guy scored the goal. And it's like, okay, everybody, let that hold you over. Let that scratch the itch a little bit if it can. And we'll be back in October. And it sucks, but that's where we're at. Trevor said the owners do suck, so I'm not counting on Tom getting canned. I'm not either. Corey, Ace, I personally think this team needs a retool badly. We need to push for a good pick in this year's draft and do good things at the deadline. Okay, but would you draft with the pick? Because that's not going to really help this group win anytime soon. You're talking about somebody who's not going to probably be on the team for minimum a few seasons. Jeremy Proper says, now that Jack has the golden goal, they're ringing the register with merch sales. They don't care about wins. I mean, I think some would argue that was the case even before the golden goal. That, business is good. And that is the most pressing matter. David S., what's up, Ace? Another painful loss. Serious question. Do you think some of the players are struggling from depression? I really can't see why else they would suck so bad for so long. We've heard a lot in the world about sports psychology. There could be something there where they might need to talk to somebody about all this. I could totally see it. The 5-star, thank you for the super. Who is the big D man we have? That dude is good. He's talking about Salayev, the guy we picked with the number 10 pick. He was in the KHL. He'll probably be in Utica next season. Hopefully he pans out, but that's another pick that I think should have been traded for win now pieces. The 5-star Kovalchuk is our best forward ever. I think I have to agree with you. We've talked about this in the past. I don't think we've seen anyone who could do all the things Covey could. Completely explosive. Critter Chronicles of teams making me go insane. I'm just waiting for trade deadline and see what we do. Another Sprong move coming. I've said that for the whole season. I never expected Fitz to make a big splash. And if anything, I said I think we would make a Sprong-esque type move where it's just this kind of reach, budget attempt fix like we've seen from Fitz so many times before. But I can see a world where maybe some roster players, some of the older guys are moved out for futures, which hopefully we stockpile and then trade those for win now help. But if we're sending anybody out, we should be trying to clear up as much cap space as possible. Ivan, I'm a long-time fan like you. The season has been so brutal. The only thing I look forward to is your post games. At least we can be miserable together. I appreciate that, man. There's a lot of us that are miserable in here. Some of us more miserable than others. But it has been a very painful go as a Devils fan for the better part of the last 14 years. And certainly this season ranks up there for me in terms of the most disappointing seasons of all time, given what the expectations were, what I really believed about this team and what the results are. Pretty wild. Wes, I've been trying to get a Jack Hughes USA jersey or jersey t-shirt, but can't find them anywhere. Let me see something. Yeah, I think all the Jack stuff is pretty dried up. Pretty dried up. That's the golden goal effect. Alan, Ace, the sad thing about this is that I really believe management does not care if the team wins or loses. That was not that way when Lou had control of the team. We're living in a totally different time. But yeah, I don't think ownership cares. I think the report card for this club is the balance sheet. Where's the money at? Yo Holmes says fire everyone. David Chimes fire Kate Madigan and Dan McKinnon too. Chill Ansmo, thank God Yankees baseball starts soon because I'm out on this team. Geezers and Fanatics is still selling Daniel Sprong jerseys full price. Should I get one in honor of the trade deadline next week? Man, that trade deadline infuriated me so much. Brian J, move on from Brat, Timo, Dylan, Siegs, Mercer, etc. Let's revamp this team. Oh, that's a whole lot of guys. A whole lot of guys are hoping to move in one offseason. Pellet Smoker Overload, cheers from Canada. Congrats on the gold medal. Thank you. You got us this time. Hopefully we get the rematch in 4 years. As for our Devils Fire Fits, yeah, it can't come soon enough, but I'm looking forward to the 2030 Winter Games in Nice, France. Hopefully I will be there as well. David says, I think Dougie will get traded tomorrow. I mean, that's interesting. What makes you think that? Stick Figs just got my Jack photo, 16 by 20 black frame with red and white suede. Sick. Perhaps the only highlight of the season, the only real achievement of this era of NJD hockey. Isn't it sad that the biggest kind of thing for Devils hockey is not even a Devils hockey thing at all? It just involves a Devils player who was on USA. It's crazy. Completely crazy. Jack says, done with Keefe too. Hasn't done enough good. No more injury excuse. No reason whatsoever this group of talent can't score more than one goal every night. I get the thinking, but the chances are there. Natasha said, everyone knows Fitz's big deadline move this year is going to be to bring him back from the KHL. Car Kane says $99 for an autograph photo is wild. Do you think that's expensive or cheap? M. Forrest, there's no one that looks remotely happy to be on this team that look lost. I mean, yeah, body language and facial expressions aren't great at the moment. Lobster says, if you never score first, your team isn't showing up prepared. Whose fault is that? I mean, you guys just regurgitate a lot of stuff I think that you hear thrown about out there. But in the end, the coach could only do so much. The coaches do not play the games. They're not on the ice. There's only so much they could do. David says, I think Mercer gets traded at $250 in the deadline day. That's interesting. Jeremy Popper says, Bratt to Dallas, Dougie to San Jose, Mercer to Calgary. That would certainly be quite the spree of moves. Richie Robb says, how the hell can anyone blame Keefe? It's not like he's on the ice with them. At some point, the players got to take responsibility. John Fay said, will it be taken down if I request that we watch Miracle on the channel as a live? Yeah, I think so. You can't do anything like that. Useless Bob says, do we extend Nico? I mean, I hope so, but who knows if he even wants to be here. Robbie's benched off. Keefe is a good coach, but not the right fit for our team on top of our players not scoring. Maybe that could be the case, but I will die on the hill of no matter who you bring in here, without sweeping personnel changes, no coach is going to get this team far. Stick Figs, 250 Jack photos reportedly just bought in the past hour, 4 days after the game. Devils fans, get it while you can. This one's special for us. Yeah, I think it probably will sell out. They're not gonna commit to an unlimited amount of them. And I'd imagine this is one. I mean, to me, I think that's a steal. Given what everything costs these days, especially sports memorabilia, to get that photo signed for $99, a legitimate piece of, not only hockey history, but sports and American sports history, iconic photo. Absolutely iconic photo. Tasha said, not even a question because Nico will not be re-signing. I'm not sure about that either, but we'll see. Doug says, you have much more patience than I do, Ace. Reading some of these comments, no one can critically think. I mean, you just realized that today. That's how these people are. There's a lot of them in here that are painful. I just got to go with the flow. DJ says, call me whatever, but I'm going on the 16th against Boston and will be boycotting by rocking one of my Bruins jerseys. You damn turncoat, DJ. You turncoat ass Mo. Love Boston, though. Boston's a great city. Gleason says, Ace, don't even read the comments about Keefe. No one will hear you out about the scapegoating. Keefe doesn't make players finish worst in the league, and he doesn't make Dougie make that pass. This team is just a bunch of losers. Yeah, I mean, listen, I understand where the frustration comes from, but at some point people have to realize that, like I've said before, maybe he is not the best coach for this team, but he's far from the biggest problem with everything going on. John T says, Torts all day starting tomorrow. Never has a team need a guy like Torts than like this one. I agree with you with that. We'd love to see Torts. No more country club. Cole, Ace, how's your viewership been doing since Dev started to suck it up? Curious. I mean, I don't know. I was just doing the Olympic stuff. It's hard to say because it seemed like during the Islanders 9-0 blowout era that people were so enraged that I think the viewership was actually up. I'd have to really look at it, but I do think it is going to start to, for everybody and anything covering the Devils, I'm imagining that as we go on here forward, people are going to start checking out pretty soon because of how bad the team is, which, is expected. Beachmaster says fool's gold. Gleason, shake the team up because it is actually a roster issue that they can't play well together. Never mind what happened against France and Denmark. They still look horrible here, and it's not just the system. Doug says, guys, no coach is going to fix this roster. It's fundamentally wrong. I completely agree with you. Completely agree with you. We needed some shake-up moves. Devil's Den, what's up, Austin? Hey, Ace, hope you had an absolute blast in Italy. Sorry I had to return to the same shit as always. Man, the Italy trip was sick. Team USA, baby. 6-0. Victory Peroni's on the nightly. Great food, much better weather than in the Northeast right now. Everything was much better, but now it's back to reality. Back to reality. Cold weather, snow, mediocre food when compared to Italy, and a very bad brand of hockey to watch every night. Brody's the team is hot garbage right now. I'll be in my room reminiscing the 22-23 season. Oh, Stenberg has overtaken McKenna as the projected number 1. Okay. Tosh said I've gotten full prospects this year. I'll eventually start paying more attention as we get closer to the draft, which is like 4 months away. Trade Luke Jackamar says, I missed times when Runnin had 300 subs and there was only one Doomer in the chat. Was that Doomer you? Critter Chronicles, if it's just a sprung move at the deadline, I'm done with this team. Huge shakeup needed so damn badly. I just can't live through another deadline like that again. Well, what do you realistically expect him to do, though? Devil Dog, this is not an old school roster with grinders that would respond to benching of players. We are not that type of team. I don't know. I think sometimes maybe benching guys could be good. It seems to be more of an old school kind of methodology, but I think this team needs a little bit of that. David Ace, I'm not trying to copy, but where'd you get your red glasses? I need to buy a pair for the bright future and long summer that's ahead. Hold off on that, David. There might be something coming soon that could scratch your itch. Send me an email. Tosh has been pushing this guy for a while. Devils need big boy Ethan Belchitz. I almost fell asleep again tonight, guys, by the way. Oleg says, Ace, let's see it down with the ship video to close out the season. Oh, man, huh? I got to make a down with the ship volume 2. Oh, man, say it ain't so. It might have to be done. We'll see. I'm still behind with a lot of other videos and stuff. Shout out to everybody who's watched the Olympic vlogs. If you haven't seen any of those and you're interested in that sort of thing, just check out the other videos. I dropped a bunch of vlogs from Italy, mostly sightseeing and food stuff. Got shut down by the IOC for the stuff at the games. Hopefully one day I could release some of it. It'll be like the lost footage. I got some crazy stuff, especially at the gold medal game. But the IOC, man, they're out there just like the mafia. sending takedowns left and right. Doug said it sucks when the smart fans are the minority. It's so painful. Salvatore says if we trade for win now pieces that push us over the edge, are we a singular piece away? I mean, as it stands today, no, but we're not talking about, that one move being it. You're talking about a series of moves to try to fix the team. No one move is going to fix any team for the most part. Rocky Jack played well when he had someone actually good to play with. Put him with Nelson and they score every night. Put him with Glendening. What do people expect? He's not a one-man team. Doug says Jack scoring that goal brought in even more dumb Devils fans. It's possible. Crazy Alex says I'm currently 3 blocks away from Chicago Cut. Should I go there and see? You should definitely go there and see what you can find out. Joey Glocks, I know he's old, but trading for Stamkos could help the offense in the bottom 6 score. I wanted that move so desperately a few months ago. I don't know that it would make sense anymore. Salvatore, doesn't the entire D or close to it have no movement clauses? Yeah, I believe pretty much they all do. But I do think some of the older guys would sign off on a trade to get the hell out of here and try to be on a competitive team. Devils, Den, hot take, Olympic hockey is only good once the prelims are done. Otherwise, it's a slaughterhouse, boring 11-2 games. I mean, that's, the prelims are for seeding for the knockout round. So just to some degree, you're correct. You're going to get a lot of mismatches. Pop the Bounty Collector says, bro, it's not fun being a Devils fan. I got to skip ahead. We're super far back here. Anthony Thomas, if our horrible ownership actually fired Fitz, who would be a possible replacement? I would take Luback. Even at 83 years, he would change the culture for the better immediately. You're preaching to the choir. I'd take Luback in a second, but I think for me, I'd like to see Shanny would be high on my list. There's some other guys. I would even give a first-timer a chance. I know a lot of people are scared to death about that, but Geese Feeder, Ace, do you feel any differently about Quinn Hughes staying in Minnesota after the Olympics? No, not at all. And keep in mind, a lot of people are like, oh, this is now somehow going to mean that he wants to play with Jack even more. Like, I don't see the correlation at all. And don't forget, the GM of Team USA Hockey is Billy Guerin, who is the Minnesota Wild GM, who's the guy who sacked up and traded for Quinn Hughes. So, I think he's going to be in Minnesota. Ways to do with Caper says, you guys trade for Brady, and that's when I am not a Devils fan again. Oh, my God. Getting Brady would be the greatest thing this team could ever do. Here's an interesting scenario. Devils get a top 5 pick, traded along with some other pieces to either Edmonton for McDavid or Ottawa for Brady. Thoughts? There's zero chance of getting McDavid, like none. Zero chance to ever get McDavid. He would never come here. But Brady, not very likely either, but slightly more realistic. But, I thought a couple years ago when the Devils did have that number 10 pick, that was the time to try to pounce on Ottawa and offer like the number 10, maybe a prospect or two, another roster player or two to try to get Brady. I don't know what's going on with all that. I think Brady's getting tired of Canada. There's been a lot of bullshit with the media there, especially when he's come back from the Olympics. And Ottawa sucking. I'm sure he wants out of there pretty soon. This summer could be the time for someone to come in there and pry him away. Would love for it to be the Devils, but with a high pick and some of the other assets we have, I do think you could make a package that Ottawa would not be able to refuse for Brady. And I'm not saying all of these pieces, but I'm just going to throw out a bunch of names and pieces that you could include in a potential deal for Brady Tkachuk. Obviously, you have whatever pick you get this year, so it should be top 10. If it's top 5, it's even more valuable. So you're talking about a pretty high draft pick in the 2026 draft. You obviously have a guy like Jesper Bratt. You have Shimo Nemitz. You do have Salayev. You have other draft picks. And there might be another prospect or two that you could potentially include as well, or, that could be part of the deal. So you have a lot of pieces to choose from. And I do think if Fitz wanted to make a big splash, that's as big as it's going to get. And I think somewhat attainable, but it's not going to be cheap. David said, guess my dream of renting Malkin at the trade deadline is not going to happen. I don't think so. I don't think so at all. Frank, Matthew Schaefer scored 2 goals tonight. Now has 18 goals in the season. He'd be the second leading scorer on this team. Brutal. Yeah, an 18-year-old defenseman. Crazy, right? A child who also plays defense would be the leading goal scorer on the Devils. Pop the Bounty Collector. We need the boys to live together in a dorm to bring them together like the Olympic team. I don't think it's the same. Doug says, you guys think Fitz checked the standings yet? We got trade the dead core. Man, the comments are just, there's just so many. I'm trying to speed up a little bit. I'm just eating Sour Patch Kids. Can we get a Fitz jersey to set on fire at the next home game? Oh, man. Michael's like, great to see Jack get a standing ovation again. I think he's going to probably get that in nearly every arena he goes to for the rest of the season. Race with Youth Caper, thanks. Smash the like. Ace, are you going to get the Jack Golden Goal Sandwich? What exactly is that? Pop the Bounty Collector. I heard Nike will restock USA jersey soon. Probably going to take forever to get it, but better late than never. But you'd imagine these big corporations would have an idea of what kind of inventory they should have, but with the USA win, the demand must be through the roof. I want a vlog of Ace asking Fitz when he's a trash GM. What's going on, Maria? Should this chat provides comic relief? Oh my God, I'm super far behind. Ace, let's say you were GM for a day. What 3 immediate moves did you make to make this team a true contender again? Well, this is an impossible question to answer because you're just doing all hypotheticals. But the number one thing is trade whatever it takes to get Brady Tkachuk. That's my first answer. And then my second step would probably be identify another throwback warrior type that could score a little bit for the forward group as well, and then kind of figure it out from there. So let's move on from proceeds to name everyone on the Devils roster. I don't think Quinn's leaving Minnesota either. How good was Quinn in the Olympics? Dude is legit. Of course he is. He led the team in points. 1 goal, 7 assists. Overtime winner in the quarters and 7 assists. Kid's a game breaker. Devils then says, as a Canadian, I'm genuinely considering buying that Jack photo with him wrapped in the flag. It's one of the hardest hockey pictures I've ever seen in my entire life. I mean, it was just such a moment. The kid gets high sticked in the face, loses some teeth, and then comes out there in the overtime and just buries the golden goal. Legendary sequence there from Jackie boy. Legendary sequence indeed. Pops, I'm drinking with you. Ace, Jack and Coke. Nice. That used to be my go-to. Useless Bob, the Nico and Timo tandem has been underwhelming to keep the duo. Timo has to go. Quinn Burns, how do you think an actual healthy offseason will help Jack? Do you think it'll make a big enough impact next season? It's hard to say. It's hard to say. I'd like to believe if he was healthy for an offseason that he would train a little bit, bulk up a little bit, but it does seem like that's not we'll see. I mean, if he stays healthy, I think he's a monster player. He looked great at the start of this season, but then, everything went to hell. Stanislav, what's up, Ace? Welcome back home. Check out some Italian deli, and you might find the prosciutto you're looking for. I don't know about the exact one. I've eaten plenty of prosciutto here, but never the kind that tasted like what I had over there. Down with the IOC. CNJ Dev. At the end of the trash season, the main question will be why didn't Fitz get Quinn? I completely agree with you. Huge fail. I'll never believe that it wasn't because of the cap space. Rapid Blue is the new black. I'm going to wait on getting the Jack Olympic photo just in case my worst nightmare comes true. Jack eventually leaving the Devils, going to a rival team, playing every game, and being a Devils killer. I mean, for me, no matter what happens, that was an incredible moment. CNJ Dev, I missed the A line. I think we all do. What a line. I miss John Madden. Any name you throw out, I'm going to be in agreement. This is the most boring Devils team that don't hit or fight or score. It's all true. There's nothing exciting about the games. Stanislav is only 64 thumbs up. Wake up, everyone. Thanks. Hit the thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button for your boy. Put the notifications on if you're subscribed. And then obviously, go to the link in the description or pinned in the top of the chat for all your USA gold medal commemorative gear and memorabilia from Fanatics. CNJ Dev. Sadly, at this point, it's more likely that NJ can trade Jack to Minnesota than Minnesota ever trading Quinn to NJ. Or Quinn could potentially still sign here in free agency. I don't think it's going to happen, but it could. Jason said, Ace, you embracing the tank now? I will never embrace the tank, man. Ever. Their game are all Sour Patch Kids. We got soft Euros. Euros aren't tough. Buying a moving billboard that says Fire Fits. Thanks, Gleason. Smash the like. Keith is gone in the morning. Huh? That's a very bold prediction. I did not watch Wingmen yet. I can't wait to watch it. I texted Steve the Maniac and told him it was what I was going to do as soon as I got off this live. I watched like the first 3 minutes of it, and then I had to go do something earlier today. I did see the Topps 1/1 Jack Hughes card, or the mock-up of it. Captain Mofungo, I don't know how anyone could watch Brady play in this recent Olympic tournament and not want him on this team. The guy is not only physical, but a motivating force on the bench. Oh, sounds like all the shit that I've been saying, amongst other things, for several years now. Several years. The pizza was okay, but to me, the standout items there are gelato and the sandwiches. Those are the things that blow away everything from here. Doug Sebastian says the country club atmosphere is created by Dougie and needs to end when he gets the boot. Never seen a player make as much as Hamilton and not care about their compete level and their craft. It's actually impressive, NHL, because I know the second he gets traded, he'll try again. Yeah, I think he'll be a guy that benefits, but he did go on a tear after he was scratched. I think Brady wants to go to an American team too. Jack might actually be the problem, in all honesty. In terms of what? Wasted Youth Caper. We know we are done, but glad the Kachucks, Matthews, and the Rags are not making the playoffs. All right, guys, I'm taking a bathroom break. Then I got to start winding this down. I mean, it's just pain and suffering. Samuel says, Jack saved this team with the gold goal. Why would anyone else pay to see this team the rest of the season? I think you're right. Without that, there'd be a lot emptier, a lot more empty seats. It's not Jack's fault Dougie threw a pizza out there. David Chimes, will you do a jig on a live stream if Fitz gets the axe? Oh, it'll be a party. If that happens, it'll be a party for sure. Jeremy Proper said, Blackie looking good tonight. Who are they playing? Doug says, why can't we score? I know why do any of you. Okay. Chase, no, how are Fitz and Keefe still employed? It's not even March and it's over. Timu says fans should boycott the team, then maybe the owners would do something. This is painful. Doug, ownership has 3 other pro teams that make them bank, and the Devils are at the bottom of that list. Amagi, this season is as painful as that Jack in the Box giveaway. All right, guys. I'm going to run to the bathroom real quick. Throw out whatever you got in closing. And get rid of this garbage. I'll be back in a minute. Oh, I'm still exhausted, guys. I still got this Olympic hangover. Not too late to Bungie says not too late to trade for Hall. That ship long sailed, but I did want him last year. People told me I was crazy. David says everyone in team management needs to go except Sarge and Marty. Completely agree. Beachmaster Jack faked Chicago cut plenty of picks of his hand. I mean, this was 3 months ago now. I don't think it was fake whatsoever. Hokic says, thanks for showing up, Ace. Only like 20 wandering games to go. Yeah, it's going to be a brutal stretch. Hopefully, I got some cool things I'm going to try to do in the summer. Doug said, wait, don't go. I just want to complain more while you listen to our coping. I told you guys, I came to the realization we weren't making the playoffs a while ago, and I kind of had like a little funeral service in my home for this Devils team. Sir, if Jack skipped 3 games to a fake injury, came back, skipped practice, and was still rewarded. He didn't. What was the fake injury? Like, what are you even talking about? It wasn't a fake injury. I have no. This is just complete nonsense now. And what are you even talking about? It certainly wasn't a fake injury. Jeremy Proper, Quinn is so solid. Love the Snoop fake. Only one person outsmokes me. Quinn, what? Doug said, who are we rooting for since it's cooked for NJ? I'll probably be rooting for, I hope the Sharks get in. We'd love to see them do something. The Oilers always for me. The Wild. I'm a Billy Guerin guy. And the Islanders. Yeah, I want to see the Sharks do something too, Doug. David, I don't want Fitz to do a message-sending deadline move. He's the root problem. Anything he does will only further demoralize the players. He sucks. Unless it's a trade that makes sense. I mean, but I don't see anything big. David S. Jack Hughes, golden goal equals Stanley Cup in his eyes. He had his highlight moment this year. He's checked out now until fall. I mean, the season's over regardless. So, Gleason, Taylor Hall was still my favorite recent Devils star. I lost my last bit of respect for Bratt tonight holding the puck with an open net. Foley scored 1-0 Sharks. Nice. Evan, what's going on? Welcome home, Ace. Devils picked up where they left off before the break. Yeah, I wasn't expecting much different, to be honest. You know, there was a break, but I didn't think the break was just going to magically fix this team. Serve, it was not a fake injury. I don't know why you keep saying this. It was not a – are you talking about the lower body thing, or are you talking about his hand? I thought someone said you were talking about the hand earlier, which was definitely not fake. Michael says I'm rooting for the Wild for the rest of the season. I'm rooting for them too. Jeremy Proper, can we pull a Rags and land McKenna? We need that. He punched the guy for clowning on him. Love that in a young guy. Well, the guy was actually like harassing his mother. It wasn't even him. Even Rupp said. So I think you guys are misinterpreting. I played the clip. Rupp was questioning him not playing through the injury. He never said it was a fake injury. Jason, no, just get Jack this summer healthy so we can get into the gym and actually train and not rehab. That'd be nice. Anson says, enjoy the Wingman, Ace. Thanks for the stream. Thanks for watching. I'm very excited for Wingman. I'm going to fall asleep in 5 minutes, though. That's the thing. Okay, so you're not talking about the hand. So it wasn't a fake injury. He just, I believe he had an injury of some sort, and he chose not to play through it. I talked about that in depth before the Olympic break. I did not love that either. I thought that that was a very bad look, but it's definitely not a fake injury. Evans, I'm rooting for Buffalo. I'd root for them too. I'm a big Tage guy, and I'd like to see Lindy do something. Timu says, I'll be rooting for McDavid because it's nonsense what he puts up with. The Canadian media is brutal. David, Habs, Sabres, Wild, Sharks are who I'm rooting for. The Devils out. I can't root for Montreal, but I'm with you on the other ones. Sabres, Wild, and Sharks for sure. Beachmaster said, I'm saying the hand injury was fake. There's proof. Where is the proof? Where is the proof? It makes no sense. Why would he fake a hand injury? Hokage, the best Devils teams had a mix of players from different countries. We need a better mix of players, in my opinion. I think we need some more Canadians and Americans. Timo says the hand was legit. I think it's crazy that anyone says the hand was not legit. Jason, the system sucks, Keith. No one wants to hear it. Beachmaster says prove it. I don't know how we would prove it. Timo, everyone knew the Devil season was finished at Chicago cut. I agree that was the beginning of the end. Jeremy Proper, Quinn with another assist. Wow, stays hot. Quinn is a game breaker, folks. Absolute beast. Gleason said I actually root for McDavid, as do I. I think he's the best player on the planet and would love to see him win a cup. We got thanks, Fitz. Jason, no, I can't stand the light near the Canes. I hope they both get bounced. So do I. Ways to do with Caper, rooting for Buffalo. My cousin has been a fan of them. They had Tom Barrasso. Doug, too many soft Euros. We need more North Americans. I agree. Get me some big bruising Canadian kids. That is what I would like to see. Glass cups can melt steel beams. All right, guys, that's it. I'm delirious. This team has broken our hearts once again. And it's not even going to be interesting hockey down the stretch, it seems. They're just going to be losing these bad games and scoring a single goal. It It really sucks. I was still thinking about going on a road trip to see the Devils before the season's over, just because I'd like to get the hell out of New Jersey, especially coming from the trip I was just on. Back in action Saturday afternoon at 5 against the Blues. Man. Timo says Kucherov has more points than the Devils have goals in the last 20 games. I believe it. Justin says, mark my words, Sabres missed the playoffs. I don't see it happening. David SS, big changes tomorrow. I feel like 2 trades will happen. That would be interesting. What makes you think that? 2 trades tomorrow? We were looking forward to the trades in the draft. That sucks. Yeah, it does. Yeah, the deadline's coming up soon. I'll probably do an all-day live just because. Justin says Wild get beat in the first round of the playoffs. It's possible. Get your mock drafts ready. If you guys have not checked it out yet, check out the vlogs from Milano and a few more in the chamber. I just put the link in the chat. Team who has 52 points the last 22. Devils have 50 goals last 22. Yeah, when you see other teams, points leaders, it is sad compared to what the Devils. You look at the Devils guys and you're like, what the hell are we doing? How have we fallen so far? We're now under a 500 team. All we could do is hope. They're a shameful franchise. I agree. Lastly, I'm going to leave you with another Fanatics link. Check out the gold medal stuff. Oh, whoa. I don't know what happened there. Let me. Just dropped the link for the gold medal collection. Some serious stuff. Get it before it sells out. The freak hand injury was legit. Timu says the groin I think was probably nonsense and he could have played, but not the hand. Wasted Youth Caber. Really though, thank you, Ace, from a Canadian bud. Glad you had fun in Italy. Congrats on the win. Thanks, man. It was a crazy run to be on. I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it. The streets of Italy, the food, all the walking around, the running to the arenas, watching USA hockey. What a time. What a time. Bungie says, thanks, Ace. Get some sleep. Got to stick it out for our boys even when it sucks. Yeah, it certainly sucks right now, but I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere, folks. That's it. I'm done. I'm on fumes. This team has broken our hearts once again. It's going to be a long month and a half or so. But I'll be back soon. Check out the vlogs on the channel if you haven't seen it yet. If you're interested in that sort of thing, get your serious, your USA gear. I put the Fanatics links in there. I think that Jack Hughes photo is going to sell out. They're not going to sell an endless supply of them. Jack's hand is going to fall off with all the shit they're going to have him signing when they bring him in. Pucks, photos, mini sticks. Kid's going to be signing away. But that's it, guys. I'm dead. I'm dead. More vlogs coming soon. More other recorded videos coming soon. I got a lot in this brain and a lot to get out there in the world. But that's it. Be back soon. Devils in action Saturday. There'll be vlogs and probably some other videos dropping before that. Thank you all for watching. I love you all. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Until next time, friends, let's go